Ladies and gentlemen, we all enjoy playing the game of chess, and we certainly enjoy finishing a game, clicking the game review on chess.com, and letting it bless us with its confirmations of our brilliance. And that is what we are focusing on in today's video. Brilliant moves. The little light blue symbol with 2 exclamation marks, which makes us all feel very warm and nice inside. In today's video, I have taken a bunch of different subscriber games, and I will be showing you why brilliant moves at times make sense, and why brilliant moves at times are the dumbest thing in the world. Now, there is no set formula that chess.com publishes as far as I know about brilliant moves. A brilliant move is essentially when you sacrifice a piece or you ignore a threat on a massive piece and you have some trick and you can win something. But sometimes the algorithm gets confused because the game of chess is fascinating and endless, and it tells you brilliant moves for no good reason. So sit back, relax. We're going to look at multiple situations, multiple ELOs, ELO as low as 300, 400, and as high as 1700. Sometimes brilliant moves make a lot of sense, and sometimes brilliant moves are ridiculous. This is a game played between 2 individuals who are 1700, and it was a normal game. It was a Spanish, it was a rapid game, and White took a little bit of central space early. Black had the 2 bishops. It was a very, very close position. White actually got a double blunder sign early in the game and lost a pawn with bishop takes h4, but took a pawn back on d6, but got bishop takes, f takes. Very, 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 very normal looking position, right? Little check, bishop e3, developing. We're getting there, queen b6 check. And White got themselves in a little bit of trouble here, as in this position, it looks like White is simply losing the game. White's bishop is pinned to the queen, like this. White's bishop is under substantial threat. If you move the bishop, you lose the queen. If you move the queen, you're going to lose the bishop. Well, in this position, White played a brilliant move. This move is definitely brilliant. In this position, White played the move rook to d6. Why is that a brilliant move? You could argue that the position necessitates such a move. Rook d6 is brilliant because it's the only move. When you are losing, when the evaluation is bad, not improvable in any way, shape, or form, except for one move, and frequently, if that move involves the sacrifice of material, you do have some pressure here, it will be deemed a brilliant move, but you haven't seen nothing yet. Because in this position, Black played the move queen c7. And White played another brilliant move, rook f6, sacrificing a rook for a pawn. It's not capturable because there is bishop takes f6 and then checkmate, but rook f6 also threatens back rank checkmate. Queen e8, queen f8, and all sorts of mates on the last rank, and Black played h6, stopping those mates, but opening up another one as rook h6! 3 rook moves in a row. Brilliant, 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 and the rook sweeps everybody. GH6, bishop f6, mate. I wanted to start this video with the absolute jackpot. Imagine playing this game. You're going to frame this game. All right, you're going to print out rook d6, 1 brilliant, 2 brilliant, 3 brilliants in a row. What an absolute beauty. I mean, this is like watching your favorite football club score, assuming they're winning and not down, by a lot. This is what brilliant moves are all about. Sometimes brilliant moves are not bad, and they're of a okay quality. Here's a game between 2 800s. Already, I'm not going to go into the opening. This is not a, look, what is Black doing, by the way? Can I just say, folks, what is bishop b4, bishop d6, bishop b4, and bishop c3? I mean, come on. Come on. Do better than this. This is terrible stuff. Closing the position early. Nobody's getting a brilliant move yet. Don't worry. The position, once again, deadlocked, as it was in the last game. Very close position. Nobody really knows how to play these. You would if you got my masterclass. For some reason, Black just doesn't take the knight back. I don't. I love how this move is deemed an inaccuracy when pawn takes bishop is just, if you don't do it, you're losing a bishop. Now, here's another good example of a brilliant move. In this position, White has many ways to be better. White can play rook a3 to try to get the pawn. White can play f4. White can play knight f5. Like, literally, White can even play king h1 and still have a massive advantage. However, there is one move better than the rest. In the last position, rook takes d6 was literally the only move. Right now, there is no such situation as literally the only move, but a brilliant move is given its brilliant symbol if you sacrifice something which leads to a devastating attack and which is better than the other moves. Knight takes g6. That is Another small example of a brilliant move. Is it truly brilliant if literally you could, like, I don't know, like feint at the board and probably still win this game? Fine, knight takes g6. And the idea, of course, being this, black has to go here, queen f7, it's unstoppable checkmate. Of course, the follow-up to the brilliant move was not played. Knight e7 is double check and queen g8 is made on the next move. White does not do that. In fact, white goes on to lose a massive chunk of advantage here. And then is only up +2, +3 after having mate and 2 on the board. So, you know, accidental brilliant moves happen like this, and then you don't follow them up with checkmate, and then the game completely spins out of control because you're 800. Suddenly, like, you're barely better, but then your opponent blunders all their pieces and they lose anyway. That's another way that sometimes brilliant moves work. So this was fine. You know, like, this was good. This was yet another example of a brilliant move. But this video is to show you what brilliant moves are when they're not any good, okay? And I have some of those. I definitely have some of those. We are going to start with this game. Between two 600s. This was a very fascinating battle. White played e4, black played e5. White played the elephant gambit. This is what this opening is called. Or white just doesn't know how to play openings, which is fine. E d5, queen d5. This is just not a good opening at all. White can put two knights in the center and then the bishop. White plays b3, you know, whatever. Trying to go here, fine. Castles. Now, black needs to get developed. We're going to learn things in this video as well. In all of my videos, I like to be entertaining, but I also want to teach you things. Black has no development. Black needs to develop the knight, the bishop, castle, and so on and so forth. But okay, the move e4 is played, and the knight is under attack. You shouldn't do that because you're not castled. So now white can play various attacking moves. Not knight g5 because it hangs a knight, but, you know, nobody sees that because they're 600. Rook e2, like, you know, your queen's hanging, so you don't block it with the bishop, you block it with the rook. All right, terrific stuff. Black doesn't take, you know, typical. Okay, so white takes on e4 with the knight, and black plays castles. Now, if you notice, there is something very, very, very wrong with this move. What is wrong with this move is that black lost the queen for nothing. Okay, white is now up 7 points of material. Again, white can pass out and still win this game. Like, white could pass out, lose on time, and it would still count as a win. In this position, white plays a brilliant move. How is that possible? White is up a queen. Like, as long as white does not lose their queen in one move, white is going to be better. d4, c3, king f1, king h1, h3, g3, f4, hanging your king is probably still better for white. In this position, white played the very powerful bishop b2. Does anybody know why that's brilliant? Sometimes the algorithm gets confused. I think the algorithm evaluated this as, oh, white is sacking the rook. White is so brilliant. White didn't really have a choice. I mean, white is going to lose the rook. Okay, fine. Bishop b2 is really fine. We're giving out participation passes. No problem. Now, in this game, something very interesting does happen a little bit later. In this position, as white plays what is definitely a deserved brilliant move, white wants to play queen takes f7, so white plays rook e8. Two brilliant moves in one game. Now, one of these is definitely not like the other. Rook e8 is a very creative move. The idea is rook e8, queen f7, followed by queen e8 and back rank checkmate, but you're also threatening to do this anyway. You're threatening to do this anyway. You're not just trying to take on f8. Queen f7 is still working, and then it's made in a couple of moves. So rook e8 does get a brilliant, and white's king gets hunted out into the open. Black's king gets hunted out into the open. White loses a queen. It's like a pinball machine, and black's king gets mated on the edge of the board like this. Yeah, so white went on to win. Yeah, what is bishop b2? I mean, what is this? What, you're up a queen. Like, sometimes these brilliant moves are they're just rubbing it in. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. White could play literally any move on the planet here and be winning. With the exception of moving the rook. I mean, any move. You could play g4. It's not a good move. You're still winning. I mean, you could, like, lose your bishop. You're still winning. You're not winning by as much, but you are still winning. Okay, but this is like, relatively mild. What else can we find? Here's a game between two 700s. This was a Scotch opening, so normal stuff, knight f6. Okay, let's develop our knights. Okay, this is mainline. What are we doing? Where are we going? Why is the knight returning home to g8? For what purpose? Put the knight in the center. Good move by white. I like this. f6. Okay, now white is just winning because queen h5 check. Because black sabotaged their own king safety. g6, bishop takes g6 if the queen gets there with tactics on the rook. Very typical stuff. But okay, black, we have knight takes f6. Castles, black develops, white develops. We have castles. Normal stuff, h6. Like, if you're going to put the bishop on f4, why not just go to f4? You understand? Like, why go to g5? And okay, fine. Bishop f4, bishop d6, knight c3. This is excellent. I mean, this is very good play. Rook e8 is considered a mistake. I don't consider it a mistake. Now, one thing you definitely should not do here with the rooks facing each other like this is you should not block your own pieces. Because by blocking your own pieces like this, you now can't move your bishop because you're going to lose the rook. Your bishop is very well protected, but there was no need to do this. Like, in this position, you could have just traded. You could have put a knight a bit more aggressively, and then you could have done something like this, and that would have been a problem. You play bishop e2, which is a very passive move. It's not, it's not a good situation. Now black plays a brilliant move. But you will look at the evaluation bar. In every example that we have looked at thus far, the brilliant moves have not made a huge amount of sense because white is winning. It's +4 no matter what white does. How can you possibly get a brilliant move in an equal position? How does that make any sense? The position is equal no matter what happens. It's not like the evaluation is based on everything except one move. But in this position, black plays a brilliant move. But how is that possible? Even if black plays the brilliant move, the position is equal? Yes, bishop to a6. Now, I really wonder if the algorithm of chess.com is somehow like connected to the ELO. Like, maybe this is like, oh, for a 776, this is really, really incredible stuff. Like, if you have a 4-year-old, okay, that knows, the colors of the rainbow or can tell you the alphabet fast enough, you're like, oh. But if a 40-year-old tells you an alphabet fast enough, you ask them why they're speaking to you in a McDonald's and why they're telling you an alphabet very quickly. Like, if you were sitting in a McDonald's having a cheeseburger and a 4-year-old came up to you and started reciting random things quickly, but correctly, you would be like, wow, I don't know you, but you seem smart. If a grown man did it, you would call the police, right? So again, it's just one of these things. Like, maybe the computer is like saying, well, you're 770, so congratulations on playing this otherwise very, very basic and practical move. Bishop a6 is not a brilliant move. It's a good move. It puts pressure on the bishop, and if bishop takes, if your opponent has brain damage, and rook e1. And okay, it's not checkmate. Some of you might think this is mate. It's not mate because bishop f1, but black is of course completely winning because black has an extra rook essentially because this bishop isn't even participating. So yeah, I mean, if your opponent is like very unintelligent after bishop a6, then you will lose the game. But in this case, white only really has one decent response, and that's king f1, because you actually defend your rook. And do you know what the best response is for black after king f1? It's to take. I mean, how are we possibly evaluating that was a brilliant move? It's minus 0.1. At the 7-800 level, that literally means nothing. They have to get diarrhea for the game to end. So bishop a6 is it's a good idea, I suppose, A for effort. Now, admittedly, in this game, things get really crazy really quickly as white, for some reason, hangs a knight, and then hangs the bishop, and then hangs the queen. Which is typical 700 elo chess. Like, the game is completely equal, and bishop a6 is played, which I am disagreeing. That is not a brilliant move. It's an interesting idea. But, maybe the computer knows something I don't, because this bishop going to a6 contributed to the complete death of the white position. First, white lost the knight because they were petrified. Then white, in fact, lost the bishop, and then they lost the queen. So the bishop took 3 plus 3 plus 9. What is that? 15 points of material. I mean, it took the knight, it took the bishop, it took the queen. It took 15 points of material, and white resigned. So you know what, folks? Maybe this move, despite it being completely equal otherwise, was in fact brilliant because it did lead to the demise of the white position. But it's not over. Here I have a game for you by two 600s. One of them is not even 600. I am simply rounding up. A London with queen f6. Typical 500 stuff. Good stuff here by white. Knight e2 is, knight e2 is, I mean, come on. I didn't teach you to play knight to e2. I told you this. In fact, you can trap the queen very soon. If black is not careful, the queen is getting trapped, okay? Like, the queen's trapped. You trapped the queen because of your bishops. Don't put the queen on f6 in the London. Knight, I didn't teach you knight e2. Come on. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Beautiful stuff. I love how that gets a mistake because of knight takes c2. Black sees it, takes, and, you know, white still has a nice position here because black is severely restricted. Black is, of course, only moving the queen. Bishop b5, and now bishop b7. So, the computer here thinks that black is winning. If black plays pawn takes b4, quickly develops everything, and tries to deal with these bishops, and then goes on to win the game. Bishop b7 blunders the game. But it blunders the game to a draw. See, Stockfish is thinking of this as if Stockfish was playing Stockfish. If in this position Stockfish was playing Stockfish, and Stockfish played bishop b7, Stockfish would sacrifice the bishop for the brilliant move and make a draw after queen c7, king to e8, taking this and repeating the moves like this. Check, 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 3-move repetition. That is mathematically the best continuation for white. If white plays the move castles, white is, first of all, white can't even castle, I guess, because white moved the king. But if white plays something else like f3, white is going to lose this game. So in this position, white thought they were checkmating, probably, so they played bishop takes d7. That is probably why white played this move. White had no idea why they got a brilliant, because white's intention after king d7 was to do all of this, but it was definitely not to repeat the moves. You must understand, my friends, a 600 goes for this, thinking this is mate. The 600 played this move, thinking it was mate over here. And then they did this. But they were not in any way, shape, or form going to repeat moves, even though that's probably the best thing to do, because on the very next move, white went here. And now white is completely lost because they forgot that the rook can take the bishop. So, yeah, you know, sometimes the computer gives you a brilliant move because the computer thinks you are thinking on the same level as it. For example, I recently finished The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel show on Amazon Prime, not sponsored. Her father is a professor at Columbia. Imagine you take a child in with you to the class. The average age of the class is something like 35 years old, and these are some of the best mathematicians in the world. But the 5-year-old nephew that you bring in with you accidentally guesses a right answer on a test in advanced mathematics. That child has zero aptitude for that class. That was a guess. It was a 1 in 4 multiple choice guess. That is what happened here. That is what Stockfish is thinking to be on the same level as it. But a few moves later, you realize very quickly, white had absolutely no idea what they were doing because now the rook just simply blocks, and now black is going to win yet another rook and then promptly the game. So now black is up 2 rooks. And that is why we should not just simply give out brilliant moves as participation prizes. But you know why we should give out brilliant moves? Do you know why we should make people feel better? Because despite being down 2 rooks in this position, well, in this position, white sacrificed yet another knight. Queen d1 is now checkmate utilizing that rook. Queen takes d7 is a massive threat. Knight f6 defends against mate. But instead of all of that, black spent 20 seconds and hung mate anyway. So maybe the computer is onto something. Maybe the computer knows that at this level of chess, this gives the best practical winning chances. Because instead of going for perpetual check, you lose your bishop, you proceed to lose your rook, you proceed to lose your knight, and now you are in a checkmate in one position, literally the worst possible evaluation on a chessboard, and you win by checkmate anyway. Sometimes, my friends, brilliant moves are exactly like that. And the last brilliant move of our video today is this one. And I will provide you the context. This is a game between two 300s. 300 is a very respectable elo on chess.com. They meet the Scandinavian defense with pawn to f3. Take, in a relatively normal game where white goes on a journey and doesn't take the pawn. Now, instead of guarding their bishop, black plays knight takes c4 and loses the bishop. Instead of taking the bishop, which you have just threatened with the move h3, white attacks the knight instead. Now black plays knight d6 attacking the queen. Queen to a4, b5, hitting the queen directly into the bishop. The queen goes back to a3, b4 once again, queen a6, and now bishop to c8 back, hitting the queen, which can now take the knight, which proceeds to attack a knight from the other direction, and now we have a degree of stability. We have c4, we have knight to d4, and black can win the queen, which they promptly do not do. Queen goes back to d1, b3, bishop g7, and queen to g4, completely and for no reason at all, unprompted, not only hanging a fork, but also hanging bishop takes g4. And now this. So black is up 12 points of material. Black is completely winning and, like I have been saying, can literally faint at the board and win this game. c5. Knight moves out of the way. d4. E takes d4. Bishop takes b5 check. A slight mistake. c6. A slight mistake. Because you're going to lose a rook, but okay, bishop f2 is played. Now, my friends, in this position, black is up 9 points of material. Black is up a queen, y'all. A queen. Let me tell you something right now. Black is up a queen. You can I would not even be surprised if in this position, black could lose the queen and still maybe win this game. I mean, I think after queen d7, white is better. I think white is better, but it's only because of this. Literally, black in this position probably has something like 40 legal moves and they're all good. Every move is good. Move the rook, move the bishop, move the other rook, move the pawn, move the... In this position, black gets a brilliant move for pawn to... What even? I don't know how to justify that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm like, I don't know how to justify that. Like, I have been trying to provide you with explanations and context for brilliant moves throughout this video. I can maybe do my best, sacrifices to open up kings or whatever. Why is that a brilliant move? Why? Why? I don't know. And black immediately takes the pawn on the other side of the board, takes on f2, and in this position, black should just win in 5 moves. But the game goes on for 20 moves as black hunts down all of white's pieces and then takes a little bit of stage fright, but promotes a second pawn, and there we go. There we go. I don't know why this was a brilliant. All I can suggest for you is that the rook is being blundered, but the evaluation stays the same. Like the rook is being sacrificed, and then maybe this can go here. I don't know. Chess.com, you know what? Sometimes Chess.com likes to comment on YouTube videos. Chess.com needs to explain to me why that is a brilliant move. Why are we even giving brilliant moves to people in positions where the advantage is already so high? Petition to Chess.com. Stop giving brilliant moves to people who have already won the game. If you are up 9 points of material in a chess game, why are we still rewarding these people? This is like making high schoolers play 4-year-olds in soccer on a field somewhere and giving them the best equipment. For what? And patting them on the back when they win 25-0. For what? Brilliant moves are a controversial subject. And I just wanted to shed some light on that in this video. Now get out of here.